In Memphis, downtown at the FedEx Forum. The bout is going to take place with the immortal Hulk Hogan back in the wrestling ring. Please help me welcome Hulk Hogan, ladies and gentlemen.
Like the shirt, man. Pretty cool. Looks like you guys are having a party here. Well, thanks for coming out to the press conference. Kind of like had a strange twist of fate here in the last 24 hours. I came into Memphis for the press conference. We've been promoting the show for quite a while, and then I got the news that Jerry Lawler wasn't going to participate. So, we're trying to switch gears and, give the fans what they want, and go back to my roots. And what started out as, a fun situation, and it was just going to be something, to go back in time and recreate the past and bring a bunch of stars in, has turned into some type of political drama. I feel like I need Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton here to help me out. But the situation is kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys know the whole story, and I don't have any idea what's been said in here this morning. But Corey Macklin and Jimmy Hart and Jerry Lawler, they work all the time with Memphis Wrestling, and they work in the area. And they've always had the support of the WWE, and they've had talent that comes from Vince McMahon to work on their shows. Even this Friday at a casino, there's supposed to be a big show with WWE talent. And when the opportunity came to wrestle in Memphis, there was an opportunity to wrestle the King, Jerry Lawler. It seemed like a great matchup, for all the real hardcore wrestling fans to see. And we were going to start out in the Mid-South Coliseum. The backstory is it needed to be handicap accessible, and the mayor was going to put us in there, but then there were questions raised that it would take like $700,000 or $800,000 to revamp to make it handicap accessible. So we had a great opportunity to come to this building, the FedEx Forum. And actually the FedEx Forum called the WWE and said, hey, is it okay for Corey Macklin and Memphis Wrestling to come in here and basically have a show in this building, the FedEx Forum? And the WWE said, no problem. We work with Corey Macklin on a consistent basis. We support his shows. Jerry Lawler's involved. Jimmy Hart's involved. We even send talent down, and everything was great. And then all of a sudden, they plugged the Hulk Hogan name in, and things kind of went awry. Vince McMahon and the WWE officials, basically from what Corey Macklin has told me, called and tried to get the building to cancel the date here, and they said no. And then Corey had a $10,000 non-refundable deposit that Vince McMahon's officials called Corey and said, we'll give you your deposit back. And when Corey said no, they offered him more money than that. But there's more to it than that. There's been press releases, there's been T-shirts, billboards, there's been all kind of stuff that's already been in the works the last few weeks. And one of my main concerns was Jerry Lawler, because when I got on the phone with Jerry Lawler, I said, hey, King, are you sure you want to wrestle Hulk Hogan? Because, when you wrestle Hulk Hogan, things change. And Jerry goes, what do you mean they change? I said, well, Vince McMahon will probably be upset. He might even fire your ass. And Jerry Lawler told me and gave me his word, I will be here. And no matter what happens, even if Vince fires me, I'll wrestle. So I took Jerry's word, and I thought, oh, my gosh, this could get pretty crazy. Jerry's a stand-up guy. So all of a sudden last night, Jerry informed me that Vince McMahon approached him with several reasons. Number one is they wanted to protect their intellectual properties, and that they didn't want Jerry wrestling me. And by the way, they informed Corey and Jerry that they would no longer be sending any WWE talent here to participate in Memphis Wrestling. And they said something about VH1, that they didn't want, Jerry Lawler on VH1 because it interfered with their network. But for the last 3 years, I've been filming VH1 with Vince McMahon. Vince has been on the show. I filmed SummerSlam. When we were getting along, it was great, that VH1 was filming their show. It only helped, open a new demographic and make older people and younger people that don't watch wrestling aware of the WWE. So, to me, in my opinion, it's more of a personal grudge. I think that Vince might think that Hulk Hogan, at 54 years old, might throw his wheelchair aside and come back and be a threat. But it's just crazy because this was supposed to be a fun thing. Now it's turned into almost a discrimination situation against Hulk Hogan, I don't want to beat that drum to death, but it's kind of hard for me to believe that Vince McMahon thinks that I'm a threat. And at 53 years old, I'm going to, get back on my saddle, ride back into the game and be a major threat to Vince. I might just do that. But at this point, we're going on with the show. The show must go on. And, I just kind of feel bad that Jerry Lawler has decided not to participate. I understand his point that he needs to keep his job, and that's his main source of income, and that's how he feeds his family. I understand that, but I kind of like explain what the ramifications may be or the ripple effect when he first got into this situation. So all that being said, I'm here. I got back in pretty good shape the last year or so. I had, got by the knee replacement, the hip replacement. Nobody said I could wrestle with that. And my good knee that was really always good, I actually got that fixed. So for the first time in 10 years, I can run, and I'm jogging, and I've got back in shape, and I'm looking forward to wrestling. And we're just really excited with the response because this little teeny Memphis Wrestling that's been spearheaded by Corey Macklin here, all of a sudden we're getting calls from Japan. People want to come in from Japan. We're getting calls from as far as California and St. Louis. This, for some reason, has taken on a life of its own, so you guys are now part of wrestling history. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but the truth is I'm ready to saddle back up and ride again. So with the support of the Hulkamaniacs, and I don't know who else, maybe Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson could explain to me what discrimination's all about, but for some reason, everything's great in Memphis Wrestling, and the WWE supports Memphis Wrestling until I come along, but I don't understand that, but... what was that? Oh, okay. But, we're ready to rock. We're ready to put the show on. We've got a couple weeks left. We just thank you guys for being here. We're basically letting everybody know with the venue now at the FedEx Forum, and that while we're not participating, this is going to be a bigger and even a better show. And Corey, do they know the news yet? Or what's going on?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of interesting because we, instead of backing down for this thing, there's something, called freedom of speech and, right to earn a living and the American dream and all that type of stuff. And Vince McMahon once told me that Martin Luther King was his hero. Well, I tell Vince McMahon he should probably practice what he preaches then. And, we've definitely decided to move forward with this thing, and I think we're going to bring you a match that the WWE couldn't deliver. We're going to bring you a match that is bigger and better than expected, with this situation. And it's basically the match that should have been at WrestleMania 23 in front of 80,000 people. So I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. If anything crazy happens to me, you guys can figure out what's going on. But I'm here to wrestle in Memphis on the 27th in the FedEx Forum. And I think Jimmy Hart is running around here somewhere. So we hopefully he'll kind of keep his mouth shut before he makes a big announcement. But we've got something big for you guys. And thank you for coming out and supporting us.